Thank you, Gianluca, for joining us this morning. So, Patagonia likes to think of itself as a responsible company. But being responsible admits that you're part of the problem. I think that's great. But tell me, why did Patagonia take that route?
Well, first of all, Dana, thank you very much for having me here and giving me the opportunity to answer to these questions. And sustainability is not a word we use much in Patagonia. We prefer to describe ourselves as a responsible company. And for Patagonia, being responsible means undertaking the hard process of self-inspections, first of all, and course correction. And we do it step by step over time. And we decide to take this path based on the, I would say, undeniable truth that making stuff, regardless what you produce, has an impact on the planet. And based on that, this is the main reason, for example, why Patagonia is donating 1% of its top revenue every year, in the good years, but also in the bad years, to an organization that is called 1% for the Planet. Through this organization, then, we collaborate and we support more than 1,000 organizations globally. And for the same reason, we became the largest supplier of apparel made in fair trade certified factories. And that is a commitment that is very strong, and we are going to expand in the seasons to come. And you see, all these commitments are as strong as used to be a few years ago. And I want to also give you another example. In 2018, Yvon Chouinard, the founder of Patagonia at the age of 80, has decided to change, after almost 50 years, the Patagonia's mission statement. And the new mission statement says we are in business to save our own planet. And the big difference between the new one and the old one is that in the new one, we are acknowledging that mitigating the harm that we do by producing product is not enough anymore. We need to do good. And we need to give back more than what we take from our planet. And this has led to another couple of commitments that I would like to share with you. The first one that we introduced on a global scale, the environmental profit and loss. And again, here is pretty simple. We want to give back more than what we take. And in simple words, basically, we measure the impact of our product. We convert those impact into financial terms, and we subtract those from the profit that we generate by selling product. And that's pretty simple, because now we can balance margin, revenue, quality on the same page as the impact. And that is a huge step forward for us. And the last but not least, by 2025, Patagonia has committed to become carbon neutral across the entire supply chain, scope 3 included, which accounts on 95% of our emissions. Is that easy? I don't think so. Do we know how to do it 100%? Not yet, but we committed to go to this, to follow this path and to make it happen. And that's what I'm sure Patagonia will do, probably at any cost, because saving the planet is more important than selling product.
Part of the sustainability pledge is a series of policy recommendations. In your view, does the fashion sector need regulation? And if so, how do you get businesses to accept regulation?
Yes. Okay, let me start by saying that the Sustainability Pledge is a brilliant contribution, and it provides useful and consistent guidance to our sector. And on top of that, it shows how good look like and increase transparency. With that being said, is that enough? I don't think so, and there are two main reasons, in my opinion. The first one is because it's voluntary. Therefore, having only some companies engage is not going to solve the climate crisis that we are facing. Second, there is a lot of greenwashing going on out there, and voluntary systems and standards are not enough because the consumer is simply too confused. So that's why the policy recommendations are becoming increasingly important, because at the end of the day, what business want is a level playing field. So as long as there is a clear timeline and key requirements that affect all businesses, business will adapt. Also here, how they will adapt it, how they change. I think there is it's becoming obvious that doing business as usual is not a strategy that we can have for anymore. And even if the companies are stuck in these, let's call it short-term shareholders thinking, the business customers, their communities are asking for a change. The new generations, Generation Z, the millennials, but also my generation, we are asking the brands to change and to behave responsibly. And by acting responsibly, the business can have a huge impact on mitigating the climate crisis. And then I want to also give you here 3 things that every business could do starting from tomorrow. The first one is decarbonize the footprint. This is the number 1. The number 2 is push for strengthened global and local policies to reduce pollution and to minimize, reduce pollution and protect nature and communities. And the third one is share the journey and be transparent about the goals. And on top of that, also be transparent with your mistakes, because if you try to save the planet, you will do mistakes. That is 100% sure. So be honest with that, share it, and then focus your energy to fix it.
How do you get the fashion industry to become less greedy and to accept that it's okay to be financially healthy and profitable and still give back?
Well, the industry and the companies are made by people. So therefore, the answer can be quite simple and straightforward, if you like, Dana. To make the industry to become less greedy, the leaders that are managing, influencing, and leading the industry has to become less greedy. And I think there is an urgent need to redefine the meaning of success. And to do that, you need to define new KPIs that companies and leaders and industries have to pursue to do that. But I think the challenge or the question here is, how can we make these new KPIs accepted by the businesses and also to make them become the new standard? And on this regard, we believe in Patagonia that the B Corp movement is playing a big role now and also in the future. Right now, there are more than 4,000 companies that represent a new kind of business that balance purpose and profit. Each of these business, every time they take a decision, they need to consider the impact on the employees, customers, suppliers, communities, and the environment. And honestly, this is the way. This is, in our opinion, the only way the business can mitigate, can support and help to mitigate the climate crisis. Let me finish with this, because I think for me it's important, and I'm saying it because there is always this what David Brower keeps saying: there is no business on a dead planet, and we should just not forget it, because that's the truth.
Thank you very much, Gianluca. Your insight was really illuminating.
Thank you very much to you, Dana. Nice to meet you.
You too.